What's up guys, my name's Dychronic here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be counting down the top 5 power weapons in PvP right now in the meta. Now obviously the meta is going to change very soon. In 2.5 weeks, Forsaken comes out with a whole slew of new weapons, new armors, new systems, mod weapons and all this stuff. Only a week and a half from now there'll be the new system. All the weapons will change slots. For example, Hawthorne will go to the primary slot and all that stuff. There'll be a lot of changes happening very soon, so this video is somewhat moot, but I still wanted to make it for two main reasons. Firstly, because it is 3 times Valor weekend right now. People are playing Iron Banner, wanting to get the last bit of Iron Banner. They're trying to finish up their Season 3 stuff, and they want to know what the best stuff is, and there's not a lot of recent stuff on it. So I wanted to provide you guys a video so you can get that last little bit of Season 3 out. But secondly, and probably the most important part, is I already did some research on this stuff and already put some work down, so I wanted to make a video anyways. Probably mostly the second one, but yeah, who knows. So let's talk about how I rated these weapons. I based them on 3 main criterias. The first one being ease of use. In general, people who look at these top 5s are not going to be people who already know what the top 5 best weapons in the game are. They're going to be people who are new to Destiny 2, new to PvP, trying to get back into it, or like myself, are complete noobs and cannot get a single kill. So ease of use is extremely important when I was rating these weapons. The second criteria is going to be kill potential. How consistent is getting that kill, and of course how many kills can you get with a single power ammo brick. And the third criteria is going to be the miscellaneous stats and perks that separate certain weapons from similar weapons in the same archetype. For example, in one of my previous videos, how the Mononon compares to the Pleiades Corrector. They're both 200 RPM scout rifles. How do they compare with the stats as well as the perks? And of course, if you've been around my videos in recent times, you know that if you watch the beginning of the video, you get some adorable animals. That's right! Only here at the Dychronic Net. Well, actually, that's probably not true. Probably only here at the Dychronic Network, if you're only watching Dychronic, you get adorable animals on the screen. Almost every other time. All the time. Anyways, coming up at number 5 in the top 5 power weapons in Crucible is gonna be the Sleeper Simulant Exotic Linear Fusion Rifle. Now I gotta be honest, a lot of people are definitely sleeping on this weapon because this weapon absolutely destroys absolutely everyone. This weapon can be found in an exotic quest in Warmind that has you go through a bunch of things in Warmind. It is somewhat difficult or long to get, but it is definitely worth it because this weapon is not only amazing in PvP, it's also amazing in PvE. Now the biggest reason why this weapon is so amazing that it one-shots anybody in the body no matter what. A smashing titan with that mask that makes him more invulnerable while leaping, one shot in the body. An arc strider that's dodging, one shot in the body. This weapon even does 676 damage headshots. If you land a crispy headshot with this weapon, it is extremely satisfying. And finally, it overpenetrates the target and bounces as soon as it hits a surface, making it the ultimate montage weapon to get lucky kills. And honestly, last week, it was tearing up mayhem. Considering you get heavy ammo just all the time, everyone's getting supers all the time, everyone is overconfident, getting their supers, getting their heavies, and then you just pull out a weapon that one-shots them in their super. It gets them every time, and it surprises the hell out of them. Honestly, the only downside to this weapon is it charges really slow, which the catalyst actually reduces, and it's an exotic weapon, so you can't use your graviton with it. Coming up at number 4 in this top 5 countdown is going to be the main ingredient Legendary Fusion Rifle. Now this weapon has been tearing it up since the beginning of Destiny 2. It is one of those Vanguard weapons you can get straight up from the Vanguard. This fusion rifle is incredible. It's one of those fusion rifles with incredible stability, making it very usable at a distance. And on top of that has Rampage, extending that distance by even more. Now obviously it is a fusion rifle, so it's not going to beat out sniper rifles in distance, but this weapon is definitely powerful enough to be able to reach out to those mid-range engagements and surprise a lot of people by how deadly it is. This weapon definitely gets a lot of points for kill potential because it gets 5 rounds in its clip, and oftentimes will net you anywhere from 3 to 5 kills as long as you have the ammo and don't die with it. Coming up at number 3 in this top 5 countdown is going to be Hawthorne's Field Forged Shotgun. Again, another weapon that has been tearing it up since the beginning of the game, can be found from Hawthorne as a random drop. I think it's also in New Monarchy's random pool, or just randomly in, I think, the Gunsmith's pool. This weapon is amazing. It's one of those faster fire rate shotguns, which is, contrary to Destiny 1, where everybody wanted those very slow fire rate long range ones. In Destiny 2, the fast fire rate ones are the ones dominating the meta. And that's honestly what makes it so amazing, is that you can shoot it very fast, pretty much as fast as you physically want to fire it, and you can almost always get a kill at a somewhat short to mid-range engagements with 2 shots. This weapon is very, very useful and very, very powerful. If you know how to use a shotgun at all, this weapon should do wonders for you in the Crucible. Now, I know what a lot of you are going to say is that there are a lot of other weapons that fit a very similar archetype, including weapons like the Perfect Paradox as well as Zenith of Your Kind. Both 100 RPM shotguns that are still very, very powerful, and I would highly recommend. What separates Hawthorne's, in my opinion, from them is going to be a range advantage. You can see the stats on screen now, as well as other perks like, for example, Full Auto's trigger system makes it so you can fire a little bit faster, in my opinion, as well as Rifled Barrel, which is what gets that extra range. Things like Perfect Paradox are going to have things like Rampage, which does help with its range a little bit, as well as an incredible aim assistance if you have trouble with that, but does suffer from a few other perks and stats that are not amazing. Zenith of Your Kind definitely gets an advantage in the perks section with Threat Detector, making it a lot easier to use with enemies nearby, the handling being my personal favorite, and of course Rifle Barrel on top of that. If you have any of these 3 weapons, they are all going to do wonders for you in the exact same way in Crucible, so I highly recommend you try them out. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Coming up at number 2 in this top 5 countdown is actually going to be somewhat of a surprise to a lot of people, the Legend of Acrius Exotic Shotgun. Yet again, another weapon that was tearing it up since the very beginning of the game, can be found basically from doing the regular Callus raid, but I gotta say, it is worth it. This is an absolute beast in both PvE as well as Crucible. The biggest reason being that if you deal damage with this shotgun on an enemy, they will die. As long as you're within the range with this weapon, you will kill any enemy that it shoots, which makes this an extremely easy to use weapon, as well as an extremely powerful weapon that makes it so you can kill pretty much any super that gets within your range. And on top of that, it can over-penetrate targets, allowing you for collaterals, and has a widespread, even allowing you to get double kills without them actually being lined up. Overall, this weapon is just an incredible beast, is an absolute destroyer in Crucible, and honestly, the only downsides is it shoots somewhat slowly and is an exotic, so again, you can't use your Vigilance Wing. And finally, coming up at number 1 in this top 5 countdown, everybody knows it because everybody sees it and everybody gets killed by it. The Colony Exotic Grenade Launcher, in my opinion, is the best power weapon in Crucible right now. Now, in general, grenade launchers are not that effective in PvE as well as Crucible, but this one, for the very particular perk that it has, is amazing. Now obviously that perk is going to be Insectoid Robot Grenades. This weapon's grenades are insectoid robots that chase targets and explode when they're close to them. What? Are you saying that if I miss, I still hit? Yes, that's right. Have you ever shot a rocket launcher or a grenade launcher and wished, man, I wish that it would have just like turned in midair or would have just like moved over a little bit for me so I didn't even have to do that? That's what the Colony does. You fire a shot, it has little legs on it, and it just runs straight at the target. Very, very fast, I might add. If you're anywhere in an enclosed area where there's a wall, a ceiling, a floor very close, you cannot escape the fury that the Colony offers. Now this weapon's been used a lot lately, so if you have a grenade launcher in your hand, pretty much everybody jumps immediately trying to get into the air. This is actually an advantage. You can actually shoot one grenade and then switch to your primary and actually gun down the person in the air, giving you a distinct advantage to pretty much anybody. Alternatively, you can just fire 2 shots off and then just walk away and not even look at the explosion like a total BA. But in general, the most efficient way to use this weapon is to fire 1 shot, watch as your enemy either jumps around or gets hit by an explosion that rocks their shot, and then finish them off with your primary or secondary weapon. And on top of that, it is very easy to use all of your shots very, very quickly, making it so your enemy will not be able to get your heavy ammo as often. Some honorable mentions that I wanted to mention, which were definitely very powerful weapons in the power weapon rankings that I wanted to mention that just didn't make the cut, include things like Play of the Game Grenade Launcher, a very effective weapon, but is a little difficult to use if you're not a pro, as well as things like Telesto, very, very powerful long-range fusion rifle, Blue Shift or Sins of the Past rocket launcher are both very good, very high-handling rocket launchers. If you wanted to use a rocket launcher, both of those are fantastic. Tractor Cannon is also very effective, very easy to use. Definitely one of those weapons that's very nice in Mayhem, as well as against enemy supers, as well as just funny to use. And then lastly, for the sniper rifles, probably one of the best ones is going to be Alone as a God. Very, very quick aim down sights and still very good aim assist. And then lastly, I don't know what swords are the best because nobody was telling me what swords are the best and I never use them, but there are some people that do end up using swords in the Crucible that seem to have somewhat of effect. However, I would say that shotguns are in general can do the same kill potential but with less risk. And that's it. That's the top 5 heavy weapons in Crucible in my opinion. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below and subscribe for more top 5s in the future, especially with Forsaken coming up in the near future. Make sure you subscribe. There's going to be a lot of content, a lot of top 5s. I'm going to try to do a lot more top 5s with Forsaken, perhaps midweek top 5s with more cute, fluffy, adorable animals. Anyways, that's the video. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name's been Dychronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.